So let's go down the handle. Let's narrow that stance a bit. Remember, if you are in a three-quarter position, you're a weekender or a senior, you're not going to get the big turn. Go down the handle. Then you can see when you swing that things feel like they're back in sync again. Hi everyone, Murdoch here, hope you're well. Stance width. Now this is relative, depending on who you are, what type of golfer, your height, your age, flexibility. Now you'll notice watching golf on TV that the pros have got massive width to their stance when they're swinging a driver. I'm talking way more than shoulder width. Now if you take a look as well at your golf club, your driver, compared to 10-15 years ago, there's probably an inch and a half on a standard length driver now. These clubs have drifted into the common golfer market. So when you look at golfers on TV and they've got these big stances, you've got to ask yourself, well, why are they that wide? Well, look at their swing and you'll see monumental flexibility. Not so much of a big hip turn. Their upper bodies are still getting 120 odd degrees right around here. Massive torque. So there's another reason. They need a big foundation for that. So stance width is relative to the individual and the club you're using. Now, let's go back to the driver again for the average Joe. All right, so the weekend golfer. We already know the club's longer than they used to be. It allows for the optical illusion of the bigger head. You can add some more to the shaft. It doesn't mean there's more control. It's a bigger arc. So you set yourself a wide stance, yet your flexibility and capabilities only take you. Most people can't get beyond 90 degrees with a driver. Most people are short of that, and they've got a full length driver. They're gripping the end of. So can you see it's already throwing you off? You've got a big stance and a shorter swing, gripping long on your driver. Already it's going to be a challenge to get the flexibility required for huge rotation while maintaining your angles. So grip down on your driver. Narrow the stance. I want you to stand with your driver as if it's your hybrid. The wood you can hit, the wood that's your favorite. The 5-wood, the hybrid 3-wood. All right, the driver's rarely someone's favorite club because it's the hardest to hit. It's the longest shaft, the least amount of loft. So the club face angle at address can be affected so much easier to put side spin on the ball. So let's go down the handle. Let's narrow that stance a bit. Remember, if you are in a three-quarter position, you're a weekender or a senior, you're not going to get the big turn. Go down the handle. Then you can see when you swing that things feel like they're back in sync again. You can look over your shoulder. There's enough length in the shaft for the momentum when you make a backswing to drag you around to looking over your shoulder. You'll feel like you're behind the ball. You're stable enough, narrowing that stance an inch or two. 3 maybe for some of you. Now the narrower stance on the way through will give you that ease of rotation. It won't encourage you hitting off the back foot, which can have moderate success with a driver pegged up, obviously, because a T-peg and ball on top allows for that sort of upward swing, but you're not going to be very successful with your irons. So we still want to turn through and finish the end of the swing with primarily the weight on the left side, tip of the toe, facing down your target. So a narrower stance will help that. Okay, so let's go to an iron now. So if you're too wide with your driver initially, you're probably going to be too wide with your irons right the way through to wedges and chipping around the green. Remember, with an iron, I got an 8 iron. For most of you, the longest club in the bag is probably a 5, maybe even a 6 iron. That's fine, and then it jumps to your hybrids. So we're close to being in the middle of the stance with a 5 or 6 iron. It's about an inch forward, I'm going to say, for a 5 iron. But your stance width is going to be narrower of that of your driver and 3-wood, because for a successful iron strike, we need a little bit of ground contact after the ball. Even with your hybrids, even with a modern 3-wood and 4-wood, a little divot after the ball will produce a better shot, result and shape than picking off too clean. You'll get it a bit thin and it'll lose that buzz to it. So a little divot after the ball, I don't mind at all. Certainly with hybrids and irons, I'm a divot encourager. So with that in mind, I got an 8 iron, so I'm going to have it in the middle. You can see, you can just be setting over the ball and realise that, you know what, for that divot after the ball, I do need to be rotated. I do need to feel pushing off this instep, and at the point of impact, be in this position for a ball turf strike. The narrower stance will encourage that. So when you're practice swinging with a driver, narrow your stance. Don't be afraid to. Go down the handle. Now that concept of an iron swing and a ball divot strike after, practice swing with a narrower stance again. Check your ball position isn't too far forward from being too wide. And try and get that little slither of ground contact, root contact, in a practice swing by the side of the tee box. Have some swings where you're going through and just seeing, from the result of a narrower stance, the ability now to strike down. And then you're coming up. You're balanced enough. Remember, your swings are shorter, so make allowances for that with your stance. Go down the handle and be relative to your range of motion, your age, your swing length. All right, give it a go. Give it a check anyway. I think that'll help you. Thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment please down below with any topics on new videos. I certainly welcome that. I really appreciate your support. See you soon. Take care.